Hey guys, I'm Sonika. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 50 tips to help you make the best use of your Nikon Coolpix B500. Say hi, say hi, say hi. That is all my insights and tips related to this camera in one video. I have made a lot of content related to this camera, guys, and thank you so much for continuing to watch, like, and share my content. I've been using this camera for almost 2 years now and it works amazing. And if you guys found my video to be useful, please give me a huge thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you are new to my channel, guys, I regularly make videos about photography, cameras, travel, etc. So if you are interested in it, please consider subscribing and turn on the bell icon to be notified whenever I post new videos, especially about this camera. So now, thank you so much for watching, and let's jump into our 50 tips.
Please subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell icon to get notified whenever I am on YouTube. Thank you. Read the manual. No amount of photography workshops and YouTube videos is going to help you if you haven't read the manual. It can seem to be boring, but it is necessary for you to know all the buttons and menu options in your camera to up your photography game. Clean your lens. Clear the glass on your lens. Much like when you have a dirty windshield, cleaning it can give you a sharper view and improve results. Memory cards. Make sure you use a memory card with an SD speed class rating of 6 or faster to make maximum use of this camera. Understand the exposure triangle. Exposure triangle refers to the three most important elements of exposure: ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. In the B500, you can only control the ISO, but still try to gain basic knowledge of what aperture and shutter speed is. Less ISO. I set my ISO to the least 125 most of the time. Even in low light situations, I avoid raising it and try using a tripod or some support instead, because high ISO images in my B500 can give me very grainy images. If needed, I set it to 125 to 400, but never above that. Turn off digital zoom. One feature you should turn off immediately is digital zoom. According to me, it stretches the scene too much and nothing looks clear. So go to the setup menu, digital zoom, and turn it off. It's all too easy to become over-reliant on your camera's autofocus, and focusing manually is always a better option. So go to the shooting menu, AF area mode, manual. Then move your focus point to where you want to focus and click. After clicking, if you want to change your focus point, press OK and move it. Set the white balance. Start using your camera's white balance options like daylight, flash, cloudy, etc. instead of relying on the auto option to get it right. Image stabilization. Go to the setup menu, turn on Photo VR. This feature reduces camera shake and helps you to frame your photos at long distances. If you intend to use a tripod, you may turn this option off. Ditch the flash. Sometimes filling the flash directly can give a slight jarring effect on the photos. The best way to avoid this is to stop using flash altogether. Use a tripod or the support of buildings, tables, or hold your camera tight to your body for additional stability. And also breathe properly so your low light shots don't turn out blurry. Diffuse the flash. When ditching the flash isn't an option, you can always diffuse it. You can use any piece of white paper like I do. You may even use a business card or small white canister. Start early. If you're planning on doing some outdoor nature photography, set your alarm clock. It's worth getting up early, not only because that's when the light invariably is at its best, but also because wind is usually at its weakest at this time of the day. Use exposure compensation. While clicking, if you find that your whites appear too bright, go to this button to the right of OK and turn down the brightness. It makes a huge difference. Similarly, if your subject appears a bit too dark, you may increase the brightness. Creative slider. By pressing the button to the right of OK along with the brightness, you can also control the hue, vividness and active delighting of the scene in the camera. Check your settings. Discovering that you've accidentally shot a whole series of images in ISO 1600 on a bright sunny day can be very frustrating. Make a habit of checking all your settings thoroughly before you start shooting anything. Play with your settings. Although I love using the auto mode of the B500 cause it offers me a chance to set my ISO and white balance, I also love experimenting with its various modes like the creative mode, smart portrait mode, night landscape, sports mode, etc. And the scene mode has so many options to play with. Hold your camera properly. The correct way is to support the lens by cupping your hand underneath it. This is usually done with the left hand, with your right hand gripping your camera's body. This helps to prevent camera shake. If you're gripping your camera with your hands on either side of the camera body, there is nothing supporting the lens and you might end up with blurry images. Rule of thirds. Use the rule of thirds, divide your frame in a 3x3 grid and place your subject along these lines or at the intersecting points of these lines. To get this grid on your monitor, while clicking, go to the setup menu, monitor settings and choose view hide framing grid and turn it on. Rule of space. When composing, consider the direction your subject is moving in or facing and give it extra space over there. If you frame it so there's nowhere left for your subject to move except out of the frame, it can create an unnatural feeling for the viewer. Depth of field. Depth of field is the distance between the closest and farthest objects in your photo. Try adding depth or a blurry background to your images by increasing your subject's distance from the background, the subject's distance from your camera, or increasing your focal length. Find good light. Pay attention to the light in your scene. Check out the shadows that the sun makes on your objects. Notice the reflective light of buildings. Practice during the golden hour, the period of time shortly after sunrise or just prior to sunset. Consider a tripod. An inexpensive tripod is worth getting, especially if you have shaky hands like mine. It will help you avoid clicking blurry images and can help you click some self-portraits also. Get in close. Yeah, I know the Nikon Coolpix B500 has 40x optical zoom, but still try going closer to the subject. Your image will be steadier and you will also gain more confidence. Fill the frame. When you leave too much empty space or zoom out too much, it makes your subject a lot smaller relative to the entire picture. Remedy this by moving in closer or zooming in. Rotate your camera for vertical shots. Try to mix things up by actively remembering to rotate your camera vertically for a different look. This keeps you in the mindset to be open to other possibilities. Continuous shots. If you want to click multiple images with one click, go to the shooting menu and select continuous, high or low. Now the camera will keep on clicking while you keep the shutter release button pressed. This option can be useful for bird or sports photography. Use leading lines. In some photos, there's a line that draws the viewer's eye towards a certain point in the frame. Those are called leading lines. They can be straight or circular. Think staircases, building facades, train tracks, roads, or even a path through the woods. Find a unique perspective. Using a small lightweight camera means that you're a little more mobile than you would be with a big full-frame DSLR. So give your photos a little more life by taking them from a point of view that's from above or below a normal eye level. Macro mode. You can enable the macro mode on your camera by pressing the button below OK. Typical instances where you'd want to use this are for photographing flowers, insects, and other small things. Snap several photos. Please don't snap one photo and think you've got it. Try taking multiple shots in different angles, frames, and distances and challenge yourself. Always be ready. Be as prepared as a Boy Scout to snap a shot. The B500 enters the standby mode if you don't use it for 1 minute, but by just pressing the shutter release button or the power switch, your camera turns on immediately, ready for action. Don't settle for a genre. The Nikon Coolpix B500 offers you a lot of versatility because of its super zoom capabilities. You can engage in landscape photography, macro photography, bird photography, street photography all at the same time. A DSLR may require you to frequently change your lens, but you can use your P500 for it all. Be aware of your background. It's not just the subject in your frame. It's everything else in the background that can make or break a great photograph. So don't be afraid to ask the person to move or move yourself to avoid something ugly in the background. Use simple backgrounds. Choose a plain background, in other words, neutral colors and simple patterns. You want the eye to be drawn to the focal point of the image rather than a patch of color or an odd building in the background. Play with reflections. Our eyes are drawn to reflections. There are plenty out-of-the-box places to find reflections. Puddles, large bodies of water, mirrors, sunglasses, drinking glasses, and metallic surfaces are just a few. Camera batteries. Take due care of your camera batteries. Only use the batteries recommended by Nikon and store them in a cool, dry place. If you find the batteries peeling or exhausting pretty fast, consider buying new ones as soon as possible. HDR. For scenes with high dynamic range, meaning if the skies appear too bright or the hills appear too dark, you may turn on HDR. Just go to the backlighting mode and turn on HDR. Panorama. Take some amazing panorama shots and include the whole landscape with the B500. Switch to the scene mode, go to the menu and select Easy Panorama. Black and white. You may consider presenting your work in black and white to give it a more dramatic effect. You can make your images and videos black and white in post-production, and for clicking black and white images in camera, switch to the creative mode, press OK and select Noir effect and click multiple black and white images in camera. For black and white videos, you can switch to the short movie show mode located next to the auto mode. Go to the menu, special effects and choose high contrast monochrome. Slow down. Take time to think about what is going on in the scene before pressing the shutter. How are you going to compose the shot? How are you going to light it? Don't jump straight in without giving it some thought first. Experiment. If you are using a digital camera, the cost of errors is free. Go crazy, you might end up with something you like. You will certainly learn a lot in the process. Read the histogram. While reviewing your images, press the display button twice to view the histogram of the image. If your histogram is towards the left, you have underexposed, and if it is to the right, you have overexposed the image. Check the histogram and adjust your settings accordingly. Be selective. You should spend some time going through your photos so you can eliminate redundant shots and discard photos that may be out of focus or poorly composed. Post-process your images. You need to post-process your images. Don't overlook this important step. If you do, you'll eventually reach a point where all your shots feel like they're missing something, and that something will be a bit of post-processing love. Take photos everywhere. Don't buy a camera and then only take it out when you're at a wedding or vacation. Try out all the settings. Take pictures of everything. Fill your memory card up with practice shots using this mode and that. Far away subjects, close up ones, low light snaps, sunny scenes, etc. Back up your photos. Finding a way to reliably store your photos is essential. Invest in a good external hard drive to avoid losing out on your precious images. Learn from your mistakes. Getting overexposed, blurry, and badly composed photos can be frustrating. But rather than letting such photos discourage you, use them as a learning tool. The next time you get a bad photo, don't immediately hit the delete button. Instead, spend some time studying the photo to work out what went wrong and how you can improve it. Don't blame your camera. If you have the basics of photography clear and practice regularly, you can take beautiful images with any camera. If your images click with the B500 are not turning out to be good, stop blaming your camera and invest your time and energy into upgrading your skills. Have patience. Don't give up because you're not getting the shots you want in the first week or even month you start photographing. Keep it up. Practice will make you perfect. Always be up for learning new things and don't be afraid to step out of the box. Enjoy. The best part of having a hobby like photography is never running out of things to learn. Inspiration is all around you. Look at everything with the eyes of a photographer and you'll see opportunities you never noticed before.
So guys, I hope you find these 50 tips to be useful. And gear is important, guys. I'm not saying that my B500 can match any DSLR, but it is a great tool to start with photography, and you need to learn to work with what you have. If the basics of photography are clear to you, you can use any camera. Trust me. And if you guys like this video, please give me a huge thumbs up. Leave a comment down below about which B500 tutorial you want to watch next on my channel. Share this video with your photography friends and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also turn on the bell icon to be notified whenever I'm on YouTube. Here is my previous B500 tutorial and here is a playlist that plays all my content related to this camera. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned every Wednesday for new videos on my channel. Bye.